This video is sponsored by Elton. Hey guys, Chris here. Today we're doing the long trip test or the road trip test in the Mercedes EQE 53 AMG 4MATIC Plus. So today we're going to see how this car fares while going on a longer trip. Today's route is 610 kilometers or almost 400 miles. So how many times will we have to stop and charge? How much time will we spend at chargers? How far will we go before we have to stop and charge? Where will we stop and charge? What kind of speed will we get at a charger? This car does have active preheating via the navigation system, so I'm not afraid of that, even though it's only about 4 degrees Celsius outside. Will we have queues at chargers? Will we have problems with chargers not working? All of this and all of these questions and all of these things that can go wrong will be explored in today's video. So we're about 33 minutes away from 100% charge, and then when we're there, we're gonna disconnect and I'll see you guys on the road. We are now on the move and we've been on the road for an hour and 12 minutes now, and for the first hour we had like rain, no rain, a little bit of wet roads, and then just rain. But now for the past, I don't know, like 10-15 minutes we've had dry roads, which is really nice. And we can take a look at the consumption here. 23.4 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, and we've covered 127 kilometers. So the first section of the 4-lane motorway here on the E16 main road is now coming to an end. They're actually building a new portion of it here because we have about 20, maybe 25 kilometers of 2-lane highways, and then we have the motorway again. But they're building a new bridge here and then another bridge about 15-20 kilometers up the road. So this should be finished, well, in a year or two maybe. And when it is, we actually don't have 127 kilometers of motorway from where we start, but like something like 160 or 70. So it's gonna increase the average speed, and well, we'll see what that will do with the testing. You can see here all this construction here, and then the big cranes over there is that they're building a bridge. But okay, we are also at 66% stated charge, and from the looks of it, we're going to be able to get to Kristians without a problem, which is our turnaround point, and then hopefully start moving back towards Oslo. But I'm not sure where we're going to stop because this car peak charging speed 175 kilowatts. So we could go to 150 kilowatt charger, but I want to try to go to one that can deliver 200 because the car that actually holds the record is the EQE 300 with rear wheel drive. I don't think we're going to beat that with this car because this is all wheel drive, bigger wheels and stuff like that. But I think we're still going to be able to set a very decent time today with charging. And also conditions, well, nice 6 degrees Celsius outside now, dry roads. If that stays that way, that will just be better and better for the consumption. Also, lastly, we do have a tailwind on our way from here down to Kristians of about 1 to 2 meters per second. So that should help a little bit on our way down. Okay, we are now in downtown Kristians, and the weather is, well, a little bit of drizzle, but the weather for the past few hours has just been on and off. Heavy rain, no rain, dry roads, and then a little bit of rain, and then heavy rain again. And now we have light rain, I think, and the roads are damp. So this day, at the end of the video, you know, in the chart is going to be marked as dry, wet, damp rain, probably, because like we've had all types of weather today. But check this out, guys. We are here in Kristians now with 26% stated charge and average consumption 21.7 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, and we've covered 302 kilometers according to the car. If I'm not mistaken, that is not much more than we had with the Tesla Model S long range just a few days ago for me, maybe a week ago for you, but for me, I tested that car a few days ago. The weather was maybe a little bit worse then. We had rain all the time, but it's not been good today. And 21.7 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. I don't remember if it was 20.6 or 20.9, but if it was 20.9, we're talking only about a 3 or 4% increase in consumption relative to that car. And that is not bad at all. So we're here with 26%. That means we're going to be able to go, halfway back. But halfway back is in Brokelandsheia. That's where we charged with the Tesla. They only have superchargers there and slow other chargers. So I want to go a little bit shorter to a place called Arendal, to Stoa. There they have some chargers from Ragda. And those chargers are 180 kilowatts and 240 kilowatts. So let's get on our way back towards Oslo, and I'll catch up with you once we get to the charging stations. We're about 9 kilometers away from the Ragde charging station in Stoa in Arendal, and if we take a look here in the driver display, we actually have a readout for battery temperature, and you guys can see it's up to 28 degrees Celsius now, and that is because we have been preheating the battery. So if I press a button here in the center console, we get all the battery information. We're at 10% state of charge, 39 kilometers left to go. And this is pretty awesome. DC maximum charging speed with this temperature at this percentage is 154 kilowatts. That is just genius that the car shows you this. And prior to us getting a message, here you can see that we're low in the battery percentage. We were actually preheating the battery, but not preheating to the chargers over here, which are marked as 150 kilowatt chargers in the navigation system. Then the car didn't want to preheat. I tried that like 20 kilometers ago. 40 kilometers ago, but when it shows some other chargers in the vicinity of this area that were 150 kilowatts or faster, like 170 or 180, then the car preheated. But it stopped preheating when we went into a low state of charge at 11%. So that is something to just, be wary about, is that this battery will preheat only if you navigate to a charger that is faster than 150 kilowatts. But still, I don't think we're going to lose any temperature now because we only have about, 6.9 kilometers to go, 28%, 28 degrees battery. So we're going to get decent charging speed now. And as we connect to the charger, we're most likely going to, generate some more heat and then get even better charging speed. That's the plan, at least. Here we are, guys. We are now in Stoa. This is like this shopping area where they have a lot of stores. And I'm just a little bit confused because I drove over here over my left shoulder. There they have the Mer chargers. Here are the Ragde chargers. So this one is 120 kilowatts. This one over here is what? This kind is Ford. It's gonna drive out here. Let us do a right here. We have the charge port on the rear right side. This should be what is not marked with any speed. 180 kilowatts, very, very small icon there. Okay, so let's hop out and connect to the charger. Oh, before we do that, guys, average consumption 22.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, and we've managed to cover 365 kilometers with 8% charge left. So the reason the consumption has risen so much is because when the car is preheating the battery, it raises the consumption. It uses energy to heat up the battery. So let's hop out and connect to the charger. We're going to use the Elton charging app because this video is sponsored by Elton. Elton is an awesome charging app that will let you charge at almost all charge point operators in Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Denmark. So we just press the button down here, charge, and then we find the chargers here. And then this is called Johannes, which is really cool with these, Ragde chargers. So we're going to find Johannes, 180 kilowatts there. Start charging. And then put my phone in my pocket and then disconnect the cable here. Oh, there we go. That was probably not used many times. And then we're going to connect here. There we go. And then this should start up relatively quickly. Let's see if we have a display here where we can read out the speed. on this side here. Okay, so as I said, this video is sponsored by Elton. Awesome charging app that will let you charge at almost all charge point operators in all of these countries, as I said, with one app. So you register your payment card once, and then you have one interface to choose from the charger. So it's really, really cool. So if you want to check it out, there will be a link in the description box down below. It just makes charging really easy. You don't have to fiddle around with all these different apps with, yeah, all of these operators, charge point operators. So we're now charging. The charger's not actually telling us the speed, only the kilowatt hours delivered. Okay, if we do plus, here, then we get more information. So that is pretty cool. So we're now charging at 52, 59. So this should build up quickly. As we see the voltage there, 320 volts, 300 amps. As you know, that bumps up to 400 volts and 400 amps, or maybe 500 amps. We'll be getting better speed. So there we go, guys. You can see 156 kilowatts. The car was telling us 154. So that is pretty spot on. So 480 amps, 327 volts, 157 kilowatts. So I'm not quite sure how deep into the battery we're gonna charge. Maybe to around 60%, I'm estimating, will give us enough juice to get back to our starting point. Welcome back to Esso here in Schleppen, where we started this test earlier today. So we arrived here with 1% battery, cutting it a bit close, but I was confident the whole way that we were going to be able to make it because we always had a buffer of about 10-15 kilometers. So I wasn't scared at all. And even when we were down to like 2% on the motorway here, we still had about 40% power. So no problem driving this car down low in the battery percentage. And also interesting, reported range 607 kilometers, which is less than the actual covered distance. And average consumption 22.9 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. And if we compare that to the Tesla Model S long range, that's about 9% higher consumption, but that car over-reports, this car under-reports, so in reality it's probably closer to 7 or 8%. And interestingly enough, this car is on 21-inch wheels that aren't very aerodynamic compared to the 19-inch wheels on that Tesla. So it would be really interesting to run these cars back to back, same size wheels, same day. I'm pretty sure that this car isn't much less efficient, and considering that this has a 90.6 kilowatt hour battery pack net capacity and that car has around the same, like 91 kilowatt hours, I think these cars are very, very closely matched. So let's see how closely matched they are, because you guys are here at the end of the video to see how this car performs. So the Mercedes EQE 53 AMG 4MATIC Plus under today's long trip road trip test spent 24 minutes charging. So not quite as short as, was it 14 or 16 minutes in the Tesla Model S, but that is down to the charging speed of this car compared to that car, and also a little bit of strategy, because we were able to drive that car all the way down to like 0 or 1% and get there with the best possible conditions. If we probably could have gone the same distance today as we did, you know, to those chargers in Brooklandsheim. The problem is that there aren't fast enough chargers for non-Teslas. We probably could have gone and connected to a Tesla charger, but I'm not sure what kind of speed we actually would have gotten with this, you know, having quite low pack voltage. So I mean, that's the reality, the real world testing as we do here in this test, but still pretty good, considering, you know, the conditions, considering how this car is spec'd and the performance. I'm actually quite impressed by this car, and I've been impressed by this the whole week. So watch my review when that comes out in the next few videos, because I actually really do like this car. So guys, let me know what you think down below. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below. And for more car content, as always, please subscribe. See you guys later, and goodbye.